You can barely see the. You can barely see the um the mantra. You can barely see the mantra there, but it does say victory lap. You can just see lap. You can just see lap. But there it is. There it is, the victory lap. Yeah, we made it. We made it, everybody. We made it. Phil's got his Jim Jams on. I got my Jim Jams on.
Oh, Jimmy,
Jams. Sweet baby J. Now let me just see if we can prop this. Oh, I know exactly how to prop this up. We just put this here, put that there, and look at that.
Oh,
Look at that. Perfect.
Not even a crotch shot.
Perfect. Not even a crotch
maybe
shot.
a little bit.
Maybe a little bit, but we're fine.
It's not a TO. That's fine.
Victory lap. Oh my God, that tastes good. What are we drinking right now?
This is Bell's Too Hard.
Oh, the Bell's Too Hard. That's a good one. That's good. This is a gift from Tina, Phil's wife. It was a, and there's Panic.
Hey,
Victory lap. Victory lap. Good job tonight. Good job tonight, Panic.
Yeah,
Great.
thank you, Panic.
Freaking job tonight. What a night.
And this shirt, with the exception of Belgrove, I have worn this shirt almost every single investigation.
You're right. You're right. The Naruto. Yeah. Am I pronouncing that right?
Naruto.
It's it's Naruto tea. So this is the portion of the investigation where we kind of look back and we go, all right, what do we learn? What are the takeaways? And we are. This is gonna sound wrong, but bear with me. We're going to be picking our words very carefully because we did enjoy ourselves near the end. We did enjoy ourselves near the end, and I still have nothing but mad respect and mad love for the people of Haunted Nights.
Let's just face it, they're lovable.
Oh my God, they're fantastic.
And their hearts
fantastic
are
people.
100% in the right place.
Absolutely, they are in it to win it. They are in it to win it. I'm just adjusting his.
And they genuinely want to provide.
Scoot over just a little bit.
Provided,
there we go.
A good experience.
They wanted to provide a good experience for everybody. Yes, and that's the thing for everybody.
But it's like, how would I parallel this?
You can't please everybody. That's not.
No, it's.
There's a very. It's very tough to provide a fantastic experience for everyone, and while still trying to clear a profit margin.
That, and also to have a large crowd of such diverse experience levels.
That goes back to the. I mean, they were literally turning people away at the door, and they're just like, we need to keep the lights on. We need to be able to pay for more. We have to keep raising the bar. We've got that. They got the cruise coming up in 2023. So let me paint. Let's paint the scene for you, chat. What happened was,
Determined
whether the flux was not acting up.
No, our friend was enjoying the flux.
Yeah, we really believe we had a spirit that followed us from, and where we're gonna find out about this is if it starts acting like that at Tuckahoe next month, then we're like, okay, now we know the flux is broken.
Yeah, but for tonight,
based on previous investigations, the flux had never done that before, and the fact that it did it the same way on 3 different floors basically was just like, this guy is following us.
Yeah. The thing was, if it had done it from the moment you turned it on to the moment you turned it off.
That's one thing.
Yeah.
That's one thing. But it wasn't doing that. In fact, it just kind of stopped. It just kind of went, huh? And so I don't think it was the flux acting up. As a matter of fact, I think there are places where we've taken the flux where the spirits do not want to talk to us. Crescent was like that.
Yeah.
Crescent was like that.
Mm-hmm.
Dunlora, it was active. They wanted to talk to us, but it was not. But this was different. This was a very different experience. The other thing, but going back to the experience itself. So St. Albans is it's not a wide campus. It's not like a wide building, but it is tall.
Right.
It's at least 4 floors, because you got the basement, then there's the main floor, and then there's the second and third floor. And so there was plenty of space for people. The problem was this was the biggest event in the history of Haunted Nights.
It literally was.
Yeah.
It was their 2022 kickoff, and
they actually added tickets.
Yeah, and they wanted to make it big,
and they had 2 of the Wraith Chasers there, and we'll talk about the Wraith Chasers in a second. And I think they oversold the event.
And I think they realized that.
And that's what we like about them. They own it.
Yeah.
I think they knew. They were just like, ooh, and because I was not really. God love Phil. I think Phil missed his calling. He should have been a politician, because Phil knew that I was about to lose my shit, and Phil said, and Lyle, one of the founders of Haunted Nights, said, "Are you guys okay? Or are you guys having a good time?" And Phil, very diplomatically, far more diplomatically than I think I would have in the moment, said, "What did you say?"
My therapist does say I am the king of diplomatic speech.
My therapist said, "You need to work your shit out."
What did I say? Was this like before we were about to go to the last part of the night?
This was right before the third session.
Right before the third session. I also don't know.
You told me you had said we're still trying to find our groove.
Yeah, I said it took us a little while to kind of we're having some challenges finding our groove.
Yeah.
It's just it's a much faster pace than we're accustomed to. Right. And I said it just seems like as things start to ramp up in the location, we get that call that it's time to go.
You better wrap it up because it's time to go.
Yeah.
All right, so because they own it, because Haunted Nights own it, I'm going to own it for myself. When I went into this, I was expecting it to be like Crescent. You had this infamous place, St. Albans. You had okay, we're gonna go here, and then you're gonna go here, and then you go, we're gonna cycle you in and out to make sure you hit all the different spots, which is what they did at Crescent, and that's what I was expecting. What I did not expect was that they got you to a place, and then you basically had to set yourself up, and because there was no real, because there were so many people there were some people that this was their first experience, so they didn't know what to do, and then you had people like us who we had a few months under our belt, so we were like, okay, we know we want to do this, this, and this. You had a lot of overlapping.
So about almost 7 months.
Almost 7 months. But you have a lot of overlapping, oh well, let's do this, and then suddenly, by the time we did find a groove, you're being told, "Oh, you gotta pack it up.
Yeah.
You gotta pack it up." And
then on the other end of it, by the time you get back, and you wait in line to go to the bathroom, and then
and that was what happened to me in the first round. And so the first 2 sessions were absolute washouts for me. Well, no, The second session was a total washout for me. It didn't help that I forgot chat because I was busy grabbing stuff, but the thing was, I think I set my sights too high. I thought this was going to be like Crescent, and that was a mistake on my part because the group at Crescent was a group of 10,
right,
versus a group of 60. That right there should have told me, okay, this is going to be a very different night, especially when they called our team, and we thought, okay, we're going to be a small team, like a team of 4. Turns out we started out the first place we went to. I think there was 10 people just on our team.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the only way that I felt like I got anything done on the first session was I had to isolate myself from everybody. And I hated doing that. But I basically went into one of the, I think we were in this area that had some like isolation rooms. And I was in there and I was playing around with the Yeti. Shocker. But I was playing around with the Yeti Plus, and it was working. I actually was, when I went into this one room.
Things are happening.
Yeah. When I went into the room, it was 49 degrees. And throughout the entire session, I watched this just drop. It dropped like 10 degrees.
Right. And the thing is, if anything, it should have gone up with T's body heat in
Yeah.
there. And here's the thing. The temperature tonight, once the sun went down, was pretty much consistently at around like 23 to 25 degrees outside. The temperature outside didn't fluctuate all that much.
But indoors...
And there was enough time for the building to cool by the time we got upstairs, and there were holes in the windows.
But a 10 degree drop like that, and I just watched it happen.
What I mentioned to you in the car, too, is I had a couple... Well, no, I did share with you, there were a couple spots where I had like a solid 5-degree drop in temperature as well, which was corresponding with other things I was subjectively experiencing.
So I think I put on too big of expectations on the evening, but I also think Haunted Nights realized, oh wow, we've got like 60 people, and they want to make sure everybody had a good time. Now, before we go any further, let me be frank. We did have a good time.
We did have a good time.
I will say though, by the third session, I was in the back of my mind. I was thinking, if this third session is a total washout,
we would have been doing this earlier.
We would have been doing this earlier, and we would have been like, we had a taste of reality. But the third session was that. I'm trying to remember where the third session.
The third session was the purple room / the floor with the cage.
Yes.
Which I didn't get out to because I lost track of time.
Yeah, and but what I liked about that was we were going to the purple room, and this was where I got to give a huge shout out and give major props to Jada Adams, because Jada basically I was like, I'm feeling a pull to go down here, and as I'm walking there, Jada said T, and I turn around and she's just stock still, and she said, you need to go into this room. And we started an investigation in that room, and that was where I felt like I lightened up. 2, I lightened up because Phil and Jada were basically taking the piss out of me, and 3, some weird shit was happening, and we were just giggling about it. And I think that's gonna probably be some of the best evidence we got, because Phil's fleur was just kicking in hard.
Well, I was picking up some weird stuff.
Yeah.
It was picking up some weird stuff. So I'm going to need to do a little more research on the tech. But, I mean, I know you can... Well, you can have a heat reflection, right?
Right.
Because it's heat, it's wavelength, science.
But a heat reflection doesn't do its own thing.
Well, because here's what was interesting. Okay. At first we thought, okay...
No, and remember, I'm not seeing this.
He's not seeing this.
I'm standing there trying to explain...
He's trying to explain to you.
I'm trying to explain to you, and I'm trying to explain to the spirits, hey, this is a flux, and this is how this works. While I'm trying to do this, Phil and Jad are having their own conversation because they're over the floor.
Screen in front of us for the fleur.
They're like Mr. Spock looking in the scanner, going, Captain.
What looks like T is like heat reflection,
and I'm doing this,
and it's doing this, and at times
it's doing this, and then it does this.
Yeah, and it doesn't, or it's like a beat behind what he's
Right.
doing, which makes...
Now it's a crotch shot.
That's my job.
Yes.
Which makes zero sense. It makes zero sense because if there was a video delay, for example,
That's one thing.
then it just wouldn't happen that way because it's the same, it's the same footage, it's the same source, and it kept happening where it would stop.
Right.
It was very strange, but of course, Dad and I are doing like, well, look at that.
Is this?
Yeah,
It was wonky. Oh,
Right.
who is that? Oh, that's Pam.
yeah, but then it moved.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, but then
that's
it
right
moved.
because they had the camera.
Yeah, because
Right.
we had the camera on there.
Right,
and
that's
then,
right.
Because then it moved, and there were times where it would be
According to Phil and Jada, this was absolutely amazing video. Now on the other side going, guys, I'm trying to do this,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But
And then
okay.
we had Jana go in and to duplicate it, and it was kind of keeping up with her. And then I'm like, okay, that's a reflection, I guess, a
Right.
heat reflection. And then she walked to the other side of the room, and the fucking thing was just standing there.
Yeah, exactly. I remember seeing that going,
Well, all right.
okay, well, all right. Now, so we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves,
We are. We do that sometimes.
which we do
We get
often.
excited. Quite often.
So let's back it up. So there's a lot of people there. It's going to be full on. We get the cavalcade of trailers, which is fine, because the guys that do Haunted Nights, Lyle and Brandon, Ellen B editing, which is basically Lyle and Brandon, they do all their own trailers, kind of like what we do with Old Spirits, and they it's a slick operation. It's a slick operation, but they got to keep the lights on.
Yeah.
So I understand them, giving out more tickets and things like that. But I kind of wish that they'd taken this event and said, okay, we got so many people here. Here's what we're going to do. Instead of doing one night with 60 people,
We do a Friday night and Saturday night.
yeah, do Friday night and Saturday night, 30-30. And then you have smaller teams.
Yeah, because then you could have teams of
Right.
5 people,
Right.
which makes a shitload more. Like,
And it's a little more
Six.
cohesive,
Yeah,
a little tighter.
yeah,
So that would have been the first thing. Second thing was, okay, it wasn't necessarily about us because we had the guys from the Wraith Chasers there. We also had the local all female.
and they were sweethearts.
They were
awesome.
absolutely
Yeah.
delightful people. I got their card.
Yeah, I stuck it in my
So
jacket. I need to
good.
reach out to them.
So you reach out to them.
Because they were awesome.
They were delightful.
great.
And honestly, the Wraith Chaser guys, they were nice. They were friendly. One of them could not quite read the room.
Right.
And I say that because of a joke he made at the expense of Spence. That was not intentional. But he basically made a joke. He made a joke at Spence's expense. And while Spence did take control of it,
Yeah,
the problem was he did not recognize that the reason why she was crocheting was because she was nervous.
yeah, until much later.
Until
To
much
his
later.
credit, he did recognize
He did try to
he tried to
backpedal.
backpedal,
But the problem was he put it in the minds of everybody in there. Oh, it's fun to kind of poke fun at this one individual because they are crocheting. And he's like, I've never had that happen before. It's like, no, dude, because everybody deals with nerves differently. And he that dude backed off. The other thing I say though about the Wraith Chasers was I liked the fact that they acknowledged, yes, we start every session with a prayer, but that's what we do. We don't dismiss whatever anybody else does to either cleanse. Yeah, I respect that. Where I was a little disappointed with the Wraith Chasers was that this one guy, he was keeping everybody at a distance, I noticed, and he has to because there were some fans in the audience. There were some hardcore.
There were those 2 girls in front of us.
Yeah.
In the pajamas.
Yeah, and then there was the one girl on the other side.
Right.
Yes, yeah, and let's be honest, God was a handsome man. He was a handsome man, and he's cut, so good on him. But where I was a little disappointed was he kind of opened the door for a really good discussion, but then backpedaled hard.
Yeah.
He was talking about how it was okay to laugh. And I noticed Jada really responded to that. She was like, oh, okay, I'm kind of digging this guy. And he was like, yeah, I remember we were on the set and the producer would be like, oh, no, you can't laugh here.
This is like a scary show. You got to be serious.
Yeah, you got to be serious. But why?
He's
well,
like, you got to stick with the script.
Yeah.
He's like, we got to stick with the story. He's like, but the story sucks.
Yeah.
And so...
So that opened the door for Phil.
So later on I asked, so how do you manage that frustration?
Yeah.
And then it wasn't, the question was not...
So do you remember that scene in the original Matrix where Keanu is shot at and he does the ooh, the bullet time? That's kind of what happened here with Phil's question, because there was some backpedaling, there was some deflection, and the question never went answered.
Panic, yes, they are feeling all right as far as we did a great cleansing session.
We had a phenomenal cleansing session.
Everyone felt good.
Yeah, and the only reason that they probably are missing this, or we're going to catch this in replay, is that they have an hour and a half drive back to where, well, that's what we're going to pick up Jada tomorrow and then finish the journey. We decided because we are old, and it is old spirits, we decided we were going to actually stay in a Marriott. And turns out the Marriott that I found was barely 15
nice
minutes away. It's a very nice Marriott. It's a courtyard. But going back to what I was saying was that they're fine. I do want to say that they're fine.
Yeah.
Like I said, some of the fans were going to try to continue the fun. Let's poke fun at the individual that was crocheting, and Spence nipped that in the bud.
She's like, I'm shutting this
down, and they did. Now I will say this about Jada. Jada had an absolute fucking blast.
She did.
She had a ball.
I feel like as the night went on, she kind of found.
She found the groove straight away. I think she.
Well, here's my observation. She got into it right away, but I found as the night went on, she much more integrated what she was doing with what we were doing.
Right. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And I will say this too. I kind of felt, so the fact that we had the one guy from Wraith Chasers that didn't read the room very well, I went into Papa Bear mode. I went into heavy hardcore Papa Bear.
Yeah, and I felt it too, though.
I mean, because
it bummed me out a little bit too. I was disappointed that even happened.
And I'm just like, all right, because the thing is, Jada and Spence are our guests, and now we're looking at them as, no, you're part of the team, because, and I'm going to give total props to Jada. Jada actually turned me around in the third session, and here was what happened. So the first session happens, and it's just, we find a groove, and suddenly we get this call saying, you got 5 minutes, you got to wrap it up and come home. And I'm like,
and his wrap up is like, all right, all the shit that we took out, we got to pack up.
Yeah, we got to pack up,
I brought all of my stuff to that.
We brought all of our gear.
All of my gear.
We brought Big G. We brought Simon. We brought. I had Eddie with me.
Yeah, I had my laptop. I had my Oculus. I had all my other gear.
We had knives, sharp sticks. We got intergalactic ball busters. You know, and
exactly.
And so we have this stuff,
and
right?
it's like this panic of like, well, F.
Yeah,
and got to wrap it up so we can get back, so we can transition, so we can not delay our next session.
And then I had to pee, so I prop up chat, and I'm like, okay, now I gotta pee. So I had to wait in line. They had like 3 bathrooms, but there were 60 people.
Right.
So
you do math.
No. So I went on ahead. Wait, what?
It's
perfect. I'm glad y'all are good. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, we're fine. I'm getting there. So the second session, I get to the second session, I'm like, oh God. And they're like, and everyone's like, what? And I said, I left chat back at Mission Control. So a guy had to take me to Mission Control, and then I picked up chat, and I brought you guys back into Mission, brought you back there. And then I'm like, okay, where am I going? Where am I going? Where am I going? And as soon as I get there, some dude goes, does anybody have a laser grid that works? And I'm like, yeah. And I prop up this laser grid. And then while I'm trying to work with the laser grid, I'm trying to figure out what to do with Eddie. And then there's this woman that's like, I don't know why the flux is doing this. And I said, oh shit, someone else has got a flux. So I try to make friends, and this individual got a little prickly with me. I honestly think she thought I was mansplaining to her the flux. And I'm like,
When in reality, you were celebrating the fact that she had a flux.
I was so happy to meet somebody with a flux. I was so happy. So
she did get a little prickly.
She did get a little prickly, and I'm trying to work with the Eddie, but again, it's like we're talking over each other, and I go, okay, I'm going to ask a question. Now you've seen it before. When I ask a question, you're supposed to wait to give the spirit enough time to answer the question. But as soon as I answer the question, somebody else answers the question. Somebody else answers the question. And I'm just like...
It was like, bing, bong. And at this point, I decided, I'm like, I need to turn myself around. And I found a dark room.
Yeah.
And I went in there with a REM pod and a K2 and a digital recorder. And I just sat in the dark.
Right.
Pretty much all by myself. And I wasn't even speaking. I was just sitting in there.
And the thing is, at this point, I am starting to get worked up. I'm starting to get worked up, and I'm starting like,
George is getting angry.
Yeah.
George is getting angry.
Yeah. And I'm trying to tell myself, okay, look, I'm not gonna F this up. No, that's too much light. I don't want to F this up from a boy. I know this is on his bucket list, but I am on the edge right now. I am on the fucking edge. Then we get to the third session, and this is where I give total props to Jada for turning it around. We're walking out of the purple room because we walked by this one room, and I just felt a pull to that one room. And as I'm walking back, I say, hey Jada, I want to go back to this room. Do you mind, tagging along? She's like, oh yeah, let's go. And we make it about halfway down the corridor, and Jada's like, T. And I go, yeah. And she's standing stock still in front of this room, and she goes, we need to go in here. And as we've said before, Jada is a medium. She is a full, and I saw her in action tonight, and I'm like, wow, she's legit. And I said, okay, we're gonna go in here. And that was when and again, I give credit to my boy here as well, Phil. Phil and Jada are doing the Phil and Jada show while I'm trying to explain how
the fucking show.
And it's a great fucking show. Way better than this goddamn stream. And while everybody's doing and then at one point I'm flipping off Jada and Phil, and all three of us are just giggling like hyenas. And I'm like, okay, I think I found a zone. And then I saw, with like Phil, Jada walks away, and what I thought was a shadow imprint or just something is still there. I'm just like, that's straight out of a fucking Twilight Zone, man.
That shouldn't still be there.
No, that's you haunted. Yeah. And then we found a groove, but at that point I was like, okay, we need to keep an eye on the time because we're gonna probably have to wrap it up. And sure enough.
Because then I had gone off to the classroom.
Right.
Right. And was just doing some EVP work in there. There is another beer.
Oh.
No, Lagunitas is up next.
And
next thing I knew, it was time. Because I had intended to go out to the cage, which was this outdoor area for the patients.
Like, that sounds very crescent.
Yeah, it sounds very crescent-y. And I had really wanted to get out there, but I lost track of time in the classroom. Because Tina, who was on with me, I decided to do an Instagram Live from there, and she noticed something on the FLIR. She's like, pan back, like in this area, and there was like a very subtle warm spot where there shouldn't have been.
Really nice. Both our wives showed up during the stream.
Yeah.
That was nice. That was very, very nice.
That was
very nice. Almost as nice as this Lagunitas IPA.
That's kind of my kind of go.
That's
I always keep a six
yeah, I noticed that was a go-to. I noticed that's a go-to for you. I almost got us. If I could have found it, I would have got us.
Are these memory foam? Or
Yeah.
I think they're hybrids.
Well, whatever they are, they're going to be great to sleep on tonight. So anyway, so then
I'm timing T's time to sleep. Like, see how fast he falls asleep tonight. Can he? I still haven't beaten the Belgrove record.
Yeah, the Belgrove record was like that. It was pretty much. I think as you put it, if you don't mind, if you don't need me for now, I'll be shutting down now. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, so the third session, I felt like I got back on track, and then the fourth session was in the bowling alley.
Yeah.
Which wasn't necessarily bad. It was just, it was different. And there was some stuff that was happening that I didn't quite understand. I couldn't tell what was going on with both the grid and what the telemetry was coming back to me. I just did not quite understand.
It didn't make much sense.
It really didn't. It was
hard to interpret.
And that's why I said I don't know if it's paranormal or not. Because even when there was nobody breaking the grid or coming in, it was seeing stuff happening.
Yeah.
And then I was having this cascade of like there's this just giant cold spot in front of you, T, and that was, it was compelling, but I'm like, what's it telling me? And then I look down and it says, yes, you've had 167 instances. And I'm like, wait a minute.
And correct me if I'm wrong, an event is
anything that breaks the grid. Anything that breaks the grid.
And people did not break that grid 100.
I did not see 100. Sometimes it felt like there were 167 people there, but it didn't. That was not the thing.
Yeah, for me, the bowling alley.
The bowling alley was hyped. The bowling alley was a lot of hype.
I felt like the bowling alley would have been much better with a small group. But again, at that point, I kind of knew what the experience was going to be in there, so I just took it as an opportunity to test out the VR implementation and see if that was practical.
I meant to ask you, how was that? How did that go? I mean, I saw the VR rendering, and I'm like, okay, I guess it's working.
So it worked. A couple things I need to work. Well, I will.
We're calling it the Rossi stratagem.
We'll see about that. Tune in next time.
That's what we're calling it.
It wasn't a great spot for it because there's so much graffiti on the walls.
No, I did not expect that the graffiti would actually.
It actually picked up the graffiti, so it added a lot of visual noise. And for whatever reason, and I don't know if it's just because my laptop has a bigger power draw.
Bring GamerCat next time. So I got something funny to talk about with that.
PBJ.
I got something funny to talk about with that. On the fourth, we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves again. But
let me finish my statement real quick.
Go.
I'm going to come back to figure out why my power brick with a regular AC outlet on it was not working with my laptop.
And that was what happened.
And it should have been, because I've run my other laptops off it.
Right.
So I got to just figure that out, because it doesn't make sense to use that method unless I can be powered by laptop.
Right.
So we'll see. But then again, I haven't tested it with the laptop not plugged in. I would have to adjust the power settings, because it went to sleep on me, and that was it. That was it. So I could still see what I was seeing in the headset,
right?
But the thing is that I wasn't recording it.
So we need.
And that was all the bowling alley for me.
Yeah, and as far as for me in the bowling alley, it was just basically I was trying to figure out, okay, well, and this was my fear. We were talking about our different fears before we got to St. Albans, and my fear was having the wrong equipment for the room. And the grid really was not suited for what I was using it for. I mean, I just picked a random spot and I just said, I'm going to throw a grid here. Mm-hmm. And it just, the bowling alley was a weird space. The bowling alley was a weird space for me.
Yeah, I would have, with a smaller
group,
I would have approached it. I would have approached it very different.
Very different.
Very different.
Then there's the final session, and I think the final session kind of rescued the entire evening, because it wasn't necessarily like the most intense, but it did. There was a lot of fun stuff that was happening. In the final session, Twitch Mom shows up. And so Pip's in there. And then Sunny, my daughter, shows up in there. Panic's there. Blind Gamer Steve Saylor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Blind Gamer Steve showed up. And then we had this rando show up.
What is this?
G Money. And there, and we're trying to explain to G Money, oh yeah, you're in the middle of a paranormal investigation. But one of the coolest little things that happened was that I had this plasma globe, and through the entire night it was just throwing out tendrils, and the batteries have been solid. These batteries. I mean, I haven't used it continuously. It's like I'll have moments of like maybe 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and then I'll just cut it off.
And they were fresh. You loaded them fresh.
They were fresh batteries. They were loaded. Like Friday morning.
I would say up until that point, if that thing had been on a total of 20 minutes for the whole night, I would have been surprised.
Yeah, it had been on. No. It had been on for almost an hour.
You think?
But not continuous. Not continuous. But then the thing was, I pop it in. This is me not convinced, but we'll go with it. Anyway, so I pop it in, and it's throwing out the tendrils. And then I think it was Sunny. I think it was my daughter that said, "Hey, Dad, there's only a couple of tendrils left." And I looked, and sure enough, the thing had gone from all those tendrils in the globe to just like 3, and then it became 1, and then it was just like hovering over. And Chet's watching this, and the idea was that if I put the globe out there, that whatever's in the area, it could go ahead and use that and take the power from it. And we literally watched it go from a full charge to nothing within half an hour. And I thought that was fascinating. Compelling. That's our keyword, compelling. And Brandon from Haunted Nights joined us. And like I said, I think this just sums it up. This just sums up in a nutshell why we love the guys from Haunted Nights so much. He comes in, he goes, "Hey man, I'm really sorry. This was the only time I could come and hang out with you guys and do."
Hello, I got your orange text is blending in with T-shirt. Kari G87.
Hey Kari. Hey Kari, welcome.
That's much easier.
We're doing a wrap up of a paranormal investigation we just finished.
In our pajama jams.
Yeah, there we go.
Our neighbors must love me right now.
Oh hell yeah! Well, they can fuck right off because we're taking a victory lap. So there you go. Anyway, we just
we'll do a close up.
There you go.
Thank you, Mrs. Rossi.
Yeah. Here we go. You put on the front. I'll put on the back.
So,
yeah, it says
look, we were both doing the back.
Yeah.
Here we go. There's the front. See, if I pull it out, I can line it up with the logo.
The logo right there. There you go.
I am.
So yeah, we've just finished a paranormal investigation of St. Albans, and we're kind of breaking it down. But Brandon comes in and says that, and basically says, "I'm sorry, this was the only time I could come out and investigate with you guys." And we were like, "Dude, you've had your biggest audience to date, and you're apologizing to us. Stop it." They're great people at Haunted Nights. But I think when we wrapped up tonight, I'm like, if you were to ask, because that was the other thing. When we went to Dunlora, which was the first event we did with Haunted Nights, I'm like, I know I've got this, I've got this, I've got this. These are going to be some things we really want to pay attention to because we got some evidence there.
But I still haven't reviewed Dunlora.
And yeah, I mean, I have found some gems from Dunlora. Yeah, I found some gems from Dunlora. But tonight, I don't feel as confident. I mean, this could be the first night that we walk away and I'm like, did we really grab anything? Did we find any EVPs? Because EVPs, electronic voice phenomenon, the thing to know about EVPs is that when you ask a question, you have to, and it was funny. It was something that G Money made a comment on. He said, I like talking to silence too. And Sonny stepped in. Sonny stepped in and said, hey, be nice. They're doing a paranormal investigation. And that was when he was like, wait, they're doing what? And then that's when suddenly, that's when suddenly they figured out, oh shit, it's an actual paranormal investigation. So anyway, G Money wound up coming around. He came around hard. Wait,
Banhammer.
I just woke up after a birthday party. Too late for spooky. Oh yeah, well, yeah, I know. I mean that's why you're catching the postmortem here. But what the thing was that I'm looking back on the whole evening and I'm like, did we really catch anything? And this is where I feel like I went in expecting the experience we had at Crescent. What we got instead, and I've given this to Phil, but I'm giving it to you all. What we got instead was Gettysburg when you get close to Halloween, because Pip and I did a paranormal investigation. It was kind of a casual paranormal investigation up in Gettysburg. Every other time we've gone to Gettysburg with this guy and then on our own, there was just this you could feel it. You could feel
it driving into
my God.
The area.
There's so much happening at Gettysburg. But then you get near Halloween, and there are literally ghost tours tripping on top of other ghost tours. It's I remember when we were going to the ghost tour, which was actually a Twitch meetup.
Right.
When we went to that ghost tour,
because you were texting me at the time.
Yeah, I was texting you.
Yeah. As you do.
There were like 4 other ghost tours that we had to dodge to get to our ghost tour.
Because it's that time of year.
Yeah.
And
I totally get it. It's a business. Right. It's a business.
And
it's a business.
A surprisingly large portion of their tourist economy is based on the paranormal.
Love your voice. Love my soothing voice. Well, I mean, we've been going since this morning. So
we've been soothing each other.
We've been soothing our voices.
Since
the wee small hours of the morning.
Now we soothe you.
Yeah. Cheers. So anyway, so yeah. I mean, but the thing was, Gettysburg just felt when we went up there for this Twitch meetup
in the Halloween season.
In the Halloween season, Gettysburg just felt tired. I mean, literally, Gettysburg just felt like, okay, it's fucking October. All the tourists are here. You know what? We're calling it. We're calling it. And that was kind of how St. Albans felt tonight. But that was because we had a lot of people there.
There was a lot of throughput, and that was something I made sure to address. Especially, I said before the night is over, I have to really make sure I get a few good EVP sessions in. And I made sure to address that and say, it must have been an exhausting night. So many people have come through here.
Smart.
They've been asking so many questions.
Oh, that's so smart.
And a lot of times I would say, you don't have to say anything. I said sometimes just it feels good to share silence with someone that just kind of gets it.
God damn, you are like a diplomacy master. You're like fucking black belt level, bro. God damn.
By the way, these socks performed marvelously because it was cold out.
It was cold as balls.
Yeah, we weren't
Cold
single
as
digits
balls.
cold,
Not
but it was
single.
about 23 degrees out.
But okay, so let's talk about some of the accomplishments. Some of the accomplishments of tonight. I will say that. Oh wait,
Yeah.
hang on.
Oh,
I'm always
thank
curious
you
of
for the
paranormal
follow.
stuff. Well, thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow first. And as far as paranormal stuff, let me give you a quick website: oldspiritsinvestigations.com.
Which is well timed because we were just asked. You have a YouTube channel
We're actually launching a YouTube channel
in
next
February.
month. In February.
Yeah. So where you can actually watch us grow as investigators.
Yeah.
Because we've been doing this together for
A
about
whopping
7 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A whopping 7 months.
I am nearing the 1-year anniversary of my paranormal podcast, Don't Turn Around, which
Right.
was one of the ingredients in the stew that led to us doing this.
So let me give you the quick Cliff Notes version of how we got to this point. This guy pings me during the pandemic, September 2020, and says, "T, there's a new game. We got to try it, and I want to stream it with you. It's called Phasmophobia." And
I'm reenact. This
Yeah.
is a dramatization.
and I said, okay. And we knew nothing about this game. We knew absolutely nothing about this game, and the two of us just took a deep dive
Fuck it, let's do
into
this.
Phasmo.
Yeah. I'm in VR. by
He's
the
in
way.
VR.
That's it.
I'm on PC. I'm screaming my fool head off. This is a crazy.
It's
the first week of the game.
right? And it's this combination of like screaming and laughing and
Yeah.
giggling.
Yeah.
It
It
was
was crazy. It
ridiculous.
was fucking crazy.
It was ridiculous.
And then
so grateful for Facebook Nights with they
Yeah.
are magical.
yeah, they are magic.
Yeah.
It's a special kind of magic.
We've taken some time off. I know my January, just
Yeah.
as much as yours has been. January was just a crazy ass month.
So-
I think it's safe to say in February.
Oh, it's gonna get crazier.
we'll-
It's gonna get
It's
crazier.
gonna get
man.
crazier, but I think we will
Well-
be having Phasma streams in February.
Yeah, but keep in mind, I'm also going to be editing videos, so Phil doesn't do
Whose
that.
fault is that?
Fuck off.
Mine.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't make a video, so I'll take the blame.
So anyway,
I mean, I could. You might
So
not
we-
like what you get.
right. So we started doing this, and then fast forward after he's been doing Don't Turn Around, and we've been doing Phasmophobia,
Yeah.
and Phil says, "Do you want to do this?" And I said, "Do what? Do a paranormal investigation." And next thing I know, what is that?
I see the awesome T-shirt. You can take the blame.
Ah, there you
Thank
go.
you. Thank you. This is going to become my go-to investigation T-shirt.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about my bond with Naruto at some
you go.
time
There you
in
go.
the future. But
So the first and we just shot right before we came to do this one. We came to do St. Albans. We just shot all the raw footage for the pilot episode, which is about our first ever paranormal investigation. And even just then, we're looking at what we captured then, and we look at all the gear and the stuff that we've learned in such a short amount of time, and we're like, holy cow, we've been blessed.
hey, you know what's funny though?
What?
You know what's funny? If you took those two guys from that investigation and dropped them in tonight, they would have been like, "This is fucking incredible."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
we would have
and
ate this up. We would have ate it up.
because it's, again, you kind of have to, with something like this, if you are catering to like a group of 60 people, you kind of have to, it's going to be
It's gonna
by
be-
default it's the lowest
It's
common
going to be the lowest
denominator.
common denominator. But and I think and again, this is why we're not throwing Haunted Nights under the bus.
Yeah, no shade.
Because we love those people, and on top of that, I think we went in with ridiculously high expectations, because one, it was St. Albans, and two, we knew it was going to be a bigger event, but we figured it was going to be, because our first impression from the guys at Haunted Nights was this very fun. It was a fun little event. in Mineral, Virginia, at the Dunlora Inn.
It was just fun, and
It
the
was
sandwiches were
delightful.
good, the cookies were good.
I mean, it was
Love me some cookies.
they had cookies. They had cookies.
Right.
It was Christmas. It was Christmas ghosts.
We'll be dropping links and you've done enough tonight, Panic.
Look, if you want to tap out, Panic, we appreciate everything you've done.
Well, the Panic's just saying we'll be dropping links and shout outs, but I'm on mobile now.
Yeah, that's fine.
Don't worry.
That's fine. That's fine. You have done a yeoman's job tonight. But the thing is that I think part of the if you had taken the two guys from the Belgrove, which was our first investigation, and you dropped them into this tonight, oh my God, they would have ate this up. But here's the difference. Before this event, we had done Dunlora, which was absolute blast. Mm-hmm. Before Dunlora, the event we'd done before then was this thing called Crescent. And in Crescent, that was a 12-hour lock-in.
Yeah.
That was
in
hardcore.
A massive, sprawling campus.
And instead of it being a team of 10, it was a team of 2, me and Phil.
Which I do love.
Yeah.
You know.
Which state are we in? So we're
Panic beat you to it.
Oh, there you go.
Panic beat you to it. And here's the thing, though. I want to make sure, and loved having Jetta tonight.
Oh yeah. Oh
Spence
my God. Oh my God.
Was amazing.
They were great. They were great.
Yeah. But I do want to make sure that we are still also getting in just those duo investigations, because I think there's a magic to it when it's you and I.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, it's the difference between when. It's the difference between okay.
If you need to diplomatically whisper it to me,
no.
I'll be your diplomacy translator.
When Phil and I do it, it's like watching Seinfeld. It's like watching Seinfeld during the time of the Soup Nazi episodes, where everything was organic and it just kind of flowed, and it was a machine. Versus the later episodes of Seinfeld, where everybody had to have their own separate plot line.
Right.
That's when I stopped watching Seinfeld.
Yeah. That's when. Yeah.
Seinfeld was always better when everything was organic, and it just seemed like everything just kind of fit, and nobody had to have their own plot line. So yeah, you're absolutely right. However, I'm just gonna say tonight's takeaways. What did we learn anything? Did we grow from this? There were some accomplishments that we did have. Hang on a minute. Hope to visit next time in the U.S.
Our eyes are tired.
Yeah, our eyes are tired. Our eyes are tired.
We call old spirits for
that's why it's called old spirits, right? So one of the things that we did that was kind of cool was we filmed stuff specifically for the YouTube series. And one of the things that I did, and I'm still very proud of this, is I got drone footage of St. Albans. First time I've ever had to do this.
And what, the third time you've flown it?
Third time I've flown it. No, second.
Yeah.
Second. The drone arrived.
And he didn't hit that tree. He only just almost.
I came close. Yeah. I came close to hitting the tree and the wire. But not only did I get like shots of St. Albans at dusk.
Oh wait! I gotta pause this. This is a beautiful statement. Y'all are whiskey by the fire. Tonight was beer pong. Was beer pong crowded.
Oh my God! Yeah. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
This is why we love Panic.
Yeah.
This is why we love you so much, Panic.
That was.
Mike doesn't deserve you. Mike doesn't deserve you, Panic. I'm just gonna come out and say it. Mike doesn't deserve. Mike needs to treat you like the goddess that you are. God damn it.
He's not wrong.
No, not wrong. But that's the thing, is that at Dunlora, I felt like at Dunlora, but now keep in mind, Dunlora, when we did this with Haunted Nights, it was what, a group of 10 or 15?
Yeah, maybe about 15. I would say about 15.
And it was crowded, but I think it was managed better.
it wasn't that it was managed better. The issue was our time in each portion was, I think, about 90 minutes.
Oh, at Dunlora.
At Dunlora. So it wasn't that tonight wasn't managed any differently.
They were trying to do a lot.
They wanted to make sure everyone got to the most pop.
Enjoy that whiskey. Enjoy that whiskey. Cheers.
I almost brought my the single batch bullet bourbon that I bought by mistake because I thought I was buying the regular bullet bourbon, which is like $20, and this was like $70.
Right.
But I said, you know what? I never treat myself to like.
Well, here's the thing.
So.
No, we saved that. We saved that for the season finale.
Okay.
And the season finale is going to be when we do the Ghoulie Girls.
So Tina needs to order us highball glasses.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, the thing is that I think if we had any advice for the good people at Haunted Nights, we would say,
unless we won't call it advice because we don't manage events.
No,
we will call it if we were to drop a suggestion in the suggestion box.
If you have a suggestion box, here's our suggestion. Instead of 5 zones and 45 minutes each, I'd rather have 3 zones at 90 minutes each.
Yeah.
That would work so much. Yeah.
That, and you had a great thought too. If you have this many people, do 2 nights.
Do 2 nights.
And
one group is Friday, the other group is Saturday, and there's how the 2 meet.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say it was kind of cool. One of the coolest things that happened tonight, and I will say, along with the drone footage that we got, the other cool takeaway was having something unexplainable happen, and watching chat react to it.
Yeah, that's always.
It was my daughter. It was Blind Gamer Steve. It was this rando G Money. They're like, did that just happen? What? I mean, that's why I've been streaming this stuff.
And where was I? I was sitting in a small closet in the dark, all alone.
But
that was experience.
Yeah, but we're not holding it against Phil for being in the closet. It's okay.
And eventually I came out of the closet.
And we're all proud of him for it.
And I said, look at that.
Look at that. Look at us.
It's not lighting up anymore.
Okay.
Ain't that a thing? Ain't that a thing?
All things just keep getting better.
Yeah, we're a little slap happy.
We are, and we have 2 beers under us.
And by the way, I'm drinking that last beer.
But it was and this is the other thing we also got to make clear. There were some rough points around St. Albans, but I will say this. We are going back to the good people at Haunted Nights because we are lucky enough to pair up with the Ghoulie Girls. The Ghoulie Girls are another streamer group. 2 very sweet ladies out of North Carolina, Boo and Zombie, and we have moved mountains to lock in a date. And we were originally going to take them to Gettysburg, and we were going to take them to the orphanage because the orphanage was a really nice event. But we had so much fun at Dunlora. I said
because it was fun. You know,
it was a blast.
And you need to have some of those investigations that are just
fun.
That are just fun.
Right. And we had so much fun there. We said, okay, I think we should not take the girls to Gettysburg. We should take them to Tuckahoe because then it's new to them and new to us. So we floated it by the Ghoulie Girls. And they were like, yeah, we're in. We can budget that, sure. And now we're all going to there in March.
Yeah, and things were a bit more...
Oh, there you go. Let's see.
Restrictive in terms of the kind of flexibility that the Haunted Nights guys wanted to give us.
Yeah.
In a place like St. Albans.
And also,
there's a lot more liability. You know,
there's a lot more liability.
Everything has to be so much more regimented.
A lot more liability.
Especially with a group that size, they really had to make sure no one got hurt.
And again,
that all of the groups stuck together.
Right. And again, it was the spotlight was less on. The spotlight was being shown more on the guys from the Wraith Chasers, which is fine.
Right, because they had the whole like, the boys are back.
The boys are back, and hey, the boys are back, and all this stuff. But then, at Tuckahoe, it's just Haunted Nights, and I have a gut feeling that it's going to be a very more grounded event. Because St. Albans, oh man, you mentioned St. Albans, and people were like, ooh. You mentioned the Tuckahoe Plantation in Richmond, and people are like, huh? Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a different vibe altogether, and I think it's going to be a smaller group. And I think for the Ghoulie Girls, in fact, I think it was either Brandon or Lyle who said, yeah, you're going to have more of a chance to do it.
You'll be able to kind of get off and sneak away and do your own thing. It was Brandon.
In a big group, getting loud, and we can miss some back sounds easily. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that was one of the things that we were kind of struggling against in the first few sessions. Now, granted, as it got later, people were there were some people that were like, hey, we're tapped out. Yeah, we're tapping out. And it wasn't necessarily out of intensity or anything like that. I honestly felt like I did not feel. And again, maybe this was me putting too high of expectations on St. Albans. I was expecting Albans to be like Crescent,
which I was not.
Really?
Which I was really. Not. I was expecting it to be like Dunlora in a bigger location with more people.
Get out! Really? That was yours? Wow.
Well, maybe not as light.
That's why he's way more chill than me.
Maybe not as lighthearted.
Right.
That was my initial expectation, and then the anxiety kicked in, and I'm like, it's gonna be like scrambling to get gear ready.
Yeah.
And packed rooms where I can't even.
Right.
Have a moment of dead air on a digital recorder, which is kind of what it
you
started
need.
out as.
You need.
Yeah,
you need that.
And that's how
you need that.
And it started off as my anxiety realized, but we were able. I mean, in those, if I'm going to give anyone advice, in those moments where
I'm taking
the scenario is not, well, you already know what I'm going to say. Where the scenario is not meeting what you hope for, still realize you're in an incredible location with some great people.
Check.
So you figure out how to fucking get the most out of it.
That's just not being a dick.
You can have your moment of frustration,
which I did. And
we both did.
And Phil, and now granted, this is the reason why this is yin into my yang. I did not see Phil get frustrated at all. Phil was basically trying to get me to like, hey, happy.
I was
happy time. And I'm just like, Phil, I'm gonna punch you in the nads so hard, and
I had 3 layers of pants on, so I
you would have felt it because it was cold as balls.
Anyway. In fact, they were all up in me anyway, so because it was so cold.
But the thing was that. And this is, I know this is going to sound very bromance, but go with it. This was the whole.
Closing my eyes for this.
This is the whole Rossi Morris relationship. Phil could see that I was getting pissed. He could see it, especially after the second session.
Even before a word was uttered.
Yeah. This is simpatico, right? this is what Tina and my wife fantasize about.
Wait, can you scroll?
No, unfortunately I can't scroll. Hang on a minute. Let me see that. It said, if you just spooked me, I said, no, I was just shitting my pants myself. I must have missed that. Sorry, we missed that. You got it. Whoops. So anyway, he could see that I was getting frustrated, but I, at the same time, was like, I'm not going to fuck this up for Phil because this is one of his bucket lists. Now, I will say, though, if Haunted Nights were to come to us and say, we're going to Waverly, I might hesitate. Because if it's run in the same way as this, that would make me go, ooh.
So here's my honest thing right here. State it right now.
I think I know what you're
As Twitch is my witness, maybe.
As Twitch is my witness.
Maybe.
Okay.
It's more general. It's more general. I want to make sure that the investigations we're going on aren't just hosted events. Now, granted, they give us access, but I feel like the time is now to start reaching out to places and reaching out to other organizations we've worked with and doing investigations that aren't like ticketed events.
Right. So let's again back up a little bit. Let's talk about what we're talking about.
It's the best TV show ever. Like I'm watching it and I'm making it.
There you go. Haunted Nights offers ticketed hosted events, right? We're talking USS Wisconsin. Booyah. You're talking Tuckahoe Plantation. Booyah. St. Albans. Booyah. Again, you hear us keep talking about Crescent. What is this? Okay, that was a different thing. And it wasn't necessarily a hosted event as it was a sponsored event by West Virginia Paranormal Investigations.
Right.
And the thing about WVPI is they said, okay,
I'm just putting this in. I see them
we're
elsewhere.
we're doing this, but we're only bringing in 10 people or 12 people at most.
Yeah, it was 12 people at most.
Well, if I remember correctly, they had 15 originally slated, and then 3 people were no-shows, and then
That's right.
2 people backed out after the second session. Right?
Second or third, but they bowed.
Right.
It was the ladies, right?
Right.
That was their first.
And that I think is the difference between saying, "Hey, we're doing this event," and they're gonna bring in like a lot of people, versus a sponsored event. In this case, West Virginia Paranormal. It was more expensive. It's probably the most expensive thing I think is Crescent. I think Crescent was the most expensive.
Crescent was only $75.
Really?
Yep, Crescent was less than what we did tonight.
Wow. Well, we weren't paying for
Snacks.
We weren't paying. No, we weren't paying for
Sluts.
We weren't paying for the Wraith Chasers.
Yeah.
Because remember, Wraith Chasers $125, Tuckahoe $65.
Oh really?
There you go. Again. So you go right ahead. Go
quietly.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, Chad. I mean, you know, this is sort of when you're starting off as a paranormal investigator, the thing that you manage, the thing that you try to figure out is, how do I get access? And Panic says, I don't know what I just heard. We were paying for sluts? Yes, you heard that right. You heard that right. That is the charm of Phil Rossi. We're trying to make sure that we get access, because if you find a place that leans into the haunted history, then you get access. Case in point, Belgrove. But then you get these places like Blackburn, like the Blackburn Inn, where they don't lean into it. And because they don't lean into it, you don't get the access like you get with these other places. Oh, Lord Phil. Yeah, she's talking about, wait, we didn't pay for sluts.
That was the beer talking.
Yeah, that was the beer talking. So yeah, I mean, this is part of the growing pains of, because, and I've told Phil this, access is everything. Access,
It really is.
If you don't have access,
really is.
if you don't have access, you're basically trespassing.
Yeah, and we're not trespassers.
Yeah, and
we're no lawbreakers.
Right. I mean, case in point. I don't think either this year or even especially next year, I don't think we'll be able to ever do a return to TWA Flight 514.
I would not, just in the aspect of maybe being on property we shouldn't be on.
Right.
I wouldn't feel comfortable going.
Exactly.
Back.
Exactly.
And I think at this, it's probably not going to happen again.
No.
That was a once in a lifetime thing.
And it was a fantastic experience. It was a fantastic experience.
But at nighttime, I mean, part of the anxiety was there also of like
somebody showing up with a shotgun.
Like we shouldn't be out.
Yeah, exactly. And but again, that again comes back to access, and Haunted Nights got us access to St. Albans, but it started off rough. It started off very rough, and I'm just going to come out and say it. Started off rough. But you know what? It ended on a really positive note.
It did.
And with everything, with all the criticism we've had, I would still basically massive applause, kudos to Haunted Nights, because if anybody deserves that success, it's Haunted Nights.
Yeah. And you know what? They pulled off a huge event, and people had a blast.
They had a blast,
including us.
Once
we got through.
And I'll tell you who else had a blast.
Shit.
Jada.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she hasn't done this in like a decade, and she was bringing 20, 30 years of paranormal experience. Jada was basically giving us some of her insight, and I could see Phil mentally making notes like, I gotta ask her this for Don't Turn Around, I gotta ask her this for Don't Turn Around.
It's gonna be fun to have her on the show.
Oh God, it's gonna be
riot
to have her on the show. You kidding?
It's gonna be a good discussion.
Yeah.
She'll probably be a repeat offender.
Probably
there's a lot to talk
or
about.
she's gonna be a two-parter.
Yeah.
Or she's gonna be a two-parter. But I said to Phil, if we could have Jada at all of our investigations, I'd be happy.
Yeah. And I personally feel like some investigations are appropriate to have a medium on, and some are more appropriate.
This was a good one to have a medium for. Mm-hmm. I think this was good to have a medium for.
Yeah.
And maybe
definitely.
But I think I would have to sit down with Jada and go, okay, when is it a good time to say, are you okay? Mm-hmm. Versus when, I
was thinking, I was linking your website, but your IJ.
Your IG.
Linked. Oh, on my website? Probably, because I have not updated that website in a long time.
Oh, you're talking about philrossimedia.com?
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oops.
I still have long hair on the pictures on the website.
Oh, God.
Wait. It was like Asian ladies? Are they selling cryptocurrency?
Have you got one of those? Phil's pulling out his laptop right now.
No, I'm just going to do it on my phone.
Okay.
Let's see.
Asian ladies. I want to see this. Show me the Asian ladies. Show me the Asian ladies, Phil.
And you're going to get in trouble.
My wife's not watching now.
RossiMedia.com. Someone's going to clip that shit that I'm talking about. All right, let's see.
Okay.
Is it on my contact
God,
page?
look.
I know. I was so handsome. What happened? Instagram.
Oh, shit.
Oh, that's funny. That's when I thought I was going to be making beats. Yeah.
What is that?
Afterlife Beats.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Okay.
Oops. We'll fix that.
But you can link my @Don'tTurnAround podcast Instagram.
There's that. You can also link Old Spirits.
One.
Hang on. You can also link. Hang on. Give me that, dumbass. Hang on. Okay. Yeah, unlock it. Come on. This is the beer talking.
All right.
Okay.
Here.
Unlock it.
All right. I got you.
There you go. There you go.
I got you.
You can also link that one. Old Spirits Investigations. Or wait a minute. I shouldn't be doing this on your phone. This is wrong. But where's your ticket detox? Hang on. I know how to find it. I know how to find it. Yep, look at that.
Is it funny? It's like one of the first. It's like freaking access because I do the same fucking thing you do.
There you go. Link the Tickety Talks. Hang on. I can't do it on here. Old Spirits Investigations, where I have 961 views of this ridiculous video.
It's one of our best videos. I gotta say, we're figuring out the tickety talks, and for a couple old assholes, we're doing a pretty good.
We're doing pretty good. Hang on a minute. Gotta watch that. It's the fist pump. It's the fist pump. And then,
Yeah.
God, I'm a dork. I'm just gonna own it. I'm a dork. I'm an absolute dork.
I love it.
But we're up to 583 follows. Oh, look at that.
From 1,000.
Oh my God, 103 likes
Yeah.
away. All we need is 103 likes.
In other words, yeah, we drank the Kool-Aid.
We drank the Kool-Aid. We're on the Tickety Talks. We're idiots. I mean, all right.
But we're lovable.
We're lovable idiots. Okay, so in this post-mortem, takeaways.
Because that's what it comes back to.
That's what it always comes back to. Takeaways. Similar to the shows. You want me to start?
You start.
Okay.
I'm putting you on the spot.
One, I can fly a drone. I can fly a drone and get some really beautiful footage. Because not only did I get a shot of St. Albans during the day, or actually no, at dusk, which was kind of ominous. I said to Phil as we're walking out, I said, should we try to get a drone shot of St. Albans at night? And both he and Nick said, I don't think it's a good idea. I overruled them and said, let's go for it. And we got
I'm glad we did.
Yeah, that was worth it.
did.
That was definitely worth it. 2, Haunted Nights had their biggest event ever. And as much as I love them, I think it could have been managed better. And that being said, I think they know that. And they're moving forward going, okay, how can we do this better? 3, again, just wanted to throw out mad love to Haunted Nights and Twisted Paranormal. They're great people. And if they were to call us tomorrow and say, hey, next week we're doing XYZ, do you want to come? I think we'd be like, why are we talking? Let's make this happen.
Yeah.
Takeaway 4, I got a really nice charge out of watching something that I couldn't explain happen and have like one of my best friends, having my daughter, and having some rando on Twitch all kind of congregating around that moment going, what was that? And that's why I'm like, this is why I streams this stuff. And then finally, when I go into an event, I shouldn't put too much pressure on said event. You know, I should approach it with an open mind and go, okay, let's approach this from the lowest denomination, and just kind of work our way from there. What was it?
That's a screen cap of what I was talking about on Phil's site.
So okay, cool.
We'll have to look.
We'll have to look. It's probably in my Discord.
Yeah.
I think those are my takeaways. Am I missing anything?
I think he covered your takeaways.
Okay, what about your takeaways?
All right, so I'm going to try to state this with a brain that is starting to shut down from exhaustion.
And beer.
And beer.
And beer.
Single takeaway.
Go for it, because I got to pee.
Single takeaway.
You only have one takeaway?
I'm going to get real.
Wow.
Because I think this is the most important one for me.
You might have to say it twice because I got to pee.
And I think this applies not just to tonight's investigation, but it's kind of a life thing. Things aren't always going to go or develop the way you hope they do. But when things aren't going the way that you had anticipated, or that you're hoping for, or that you want it, you can always, in the words of Ross, pivot because you have control not over what's happening to you as far as the external, but how you are responding to the situation and how you are moving forward and getting the most out of it. And I had that moment tonight where I could have just kind of folded, and instead I said, I'm going to make every second of this count, even though it wasn't exactly what I was hoping for at this location. So that's a long way of stating something fairly simple. The End by Phil Rossi. Just kidding, I'm not frozen. I was just joking around. This is what happens when T leaves me in charge of the stream. I guess my other takeaway is that it was a big event with lots of people, and I honestly do not think that anyone could have done a better job than Haunted Nights did.
Oh, hell yes.
I feel like other groups would have folded under the pressure.
Oh my God, they would have like cheap lawn chairs. Yeah. They would have absolutely. While T's gone,
what's your
Nindo Ninja way?
You never leave your friends behind. That's the ninja way. All right, you scoot over this way. Kakashi teaches nothing.
Yep. Is that a?
That's a Naruto reference.
Ah, it's a Naruto reference. Okay. So are you gonna tell Panic about what your daughters did for your birthday? For Christmas. God, that was so sweet. This is gonna make you cry, Panic, because
collaborated.
I don't even know Naruto, and I was like,
Naruto, God damn it!
How many beers have I had? Get the fuck off me! I can't even pronounce anime right. I call it anime. And all these shitheels come on my stream and they go, "Oh look, he's having anime. No more tea and scones for me means I'm off to watch anime."
So this is what our daughters did for us. I know the lighting's a little funky.
Hang on.
It's on my Instagram.
Did that fix it?
Not really. Maybe if I dim my screen a little bit or brighten it, maybe. Nope, that makes it a lot worse. All right, so it's on my Instagram. It's on his
Instagram.
At Don't Turn Around Podcast. Basically, they created Shinobi versions of their stepmom and I. And it was extremely touching, and they incorporated some of the things that are really important to us from Naruto.
You gotta frame that shit.
Yeah, we are. We're gonna get a nice frame for it. So, anyway,
gotta frame that shit.
Boom, boom, boom. So, all in all, did we have some challenges tonight? Yes. Did we have a great night? Did it wrap up and end on a very high note?
Yes.
100%.
And will Jada be joining us again?
Absolutely.
For a future thing, and more to the point, will Spence also be joining us? Yes. Will Panic be our mod of the most?
Hashtag
yes.
for life.
Hashtag faux life. Faux life. All right. And now closing in on the 4:00 hour. We are calling it a stream. We are calling it an investigation. Thank you all very much for joining us. We will see you all in March with the Ghoulie Girls when we do this, when we try to stream once again live from Tuckahoe Plantation in Richmond, Virginia, with Haunted Nights, and we will let you know how that goes as well. All right.
Unless something comes up in February.
What?
I said unless an investigation comes up in February.
And I'm not going to hold my breath on that because we're going to be focused on premiering the show. Premiering, because one of the things we're learning...
That's right. We got shit to do.
We got shit to do. And if we can keep investigating while getting shit done, that's great. But February is going to be the month we focus on
It's
launching...
It's got to be Get Shit Done month.
Yeah. We're going to be launching Old Spirits officially.
So no investigations in February.
No. But in March, all right.
It's on.
It's on.
It's on.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us. Good night.